Hello and welcome back to another reaction to Fallout. I'm Madam Arm, and today I'll be reacting to Season 1, Episode 8, titled The Beginning, which is the season finale. Where we last left off, Lucy and Maximus had a very dramatic kiss that was also coupled with disgusting head stuff, like the head that they're holding. What's his name? Is a ghoul now, which you could definitely see coming based off of healing stuff that the chicken lover gave to him. Yeah. So, yeah. it's gonna be an interesting time seeing how they wrap it up. As Lucy has the real head, Maximus is gonna present a different head back to his authority figures. Fred Armisen loves booby traps. That's the big thing to glean from last episode. But I don't know. I'm just excited to get into it, so I'm just gonna start it.
Wife?
When my mother died, what happened to her Pip-Boy?
It was buried with her. I buried her myself. Me.
Yeah, what's gonna
And your
be
father.
in the vault that Norman sees in 31?
Find me.
I will.
He probably can't. I mean, I'm sure he will, but he probably wouldn't want to let him.
It's feeling clear for lead.
Everyone's looking at him in disgust. Oh boy.
Not the first time. A brother in your company has fallen into misfortune.
Yeah. Interesting, huh?
Is it?
Please listen to me!
I can get you the real head.
Confess.
Don't kill me and I can lead you to it!
Are you gonna find her that way by leading them to her?
How did Titus die?
He died running.
The Brotherhood has lost its way.
He stopped running
We once ruled
after it was shot.
the wasteland.
I believe he's probably tempted. She walked in so confidently, but... Here we go. Mr. Emmy nominee, right here.
My Pip-Boy, it's been acting strange. The transmitter is always activated.
Well, maybe take it
Oh.
to the boys in IT.
Oh, I don't know what that could be
No,
about.
I can fix it myself.
Hey, maybe we could all go to Cafe Cabana sometime. You can cook.
Yeah, he's definitely fallen into the what I'm actually going to spy. Kind of reminds me of like
Lucy.
Furiosa, because I actually did watch that movie in the theaters. Kind of that open skyline thing in the headquarters, for lack of a better word.
Join us.
No, that ghoul
It's my turn
is
to
very...
vote, isn't it?
I'm assuming it's a ghoul. It's very rotted.
I've had a lot of time to think about this
It
moment.
makes Cooper look like a beauty queen, which I think some people already think
You
he
wouldn't
is.
believe
but-
the things that went through my head. But that's not really how I was raised. Brought you your friend, just like he asked.
tell you how I know your father.
I would be interested, yeah.
I'll get it. I'll get it, don't you worry.
A brain and
Well, this is just ridiculous.
a brain and a Roomba.
His son?
No. No, 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 no!
What are you?
Initiate Protocol 53.
Oh. Back. What?
No, sorry, just...
No, hold still so I can jab you.
I won't answer your questions unless you let me inject you with this. Alright.
And what is it?
Don't... The result of this fruit-bearing collaboration between like-minded corporations that make America great.
Make America great.
On behalf of everyone here at Vault-Tec, welcome. All our competitors, you know, every other human who isn't us, will be dead on the surface.
Mm.
Because...
Mm. Oh.
If I could perhaps refocus the conversation.
I suggest we hedge our bets.
Wait! I am the overseer here. My orders must be followed. Oh, he's gonna find out.
Yeah.
We kept Vault-Tec alive instead. A well-trained staff of highly supervised junior executives for my own assistant training program. Because the future of humanity comes down to one word.
What you want to do, no one needs to know. And may the best idea win.
Oh, when you put it like that, sounds downright morally questionable. They're our breeding pool. The ultimate expression of HR R&D. Surface clean.
We wiped the surface clean.
Yep.
We could intentionally immigrants. We could pump psychotropic drugs into the air supply.
We could separate parents and children, and only the smartest kids reach adulthood.
Oh my god.
It's a fun idea. So how can you guarantee results?
By dropping the bomb ourselves.
Mr. Howard? Everything all right, Mr. Howard?
Fine.
Well, it makes it even
fine.
more understandable why he's so angry.
He is so excited.
Mr. Howard. Huge fan. I'm Henry, but everyone calls me Hank.
Oh, wow. That de-aging stuff, wow.
And that scene where you shoot Joey Toro in the face. Feo fuerte y formal.
This. When he's from. He never told your mother either.
Hey. I was just scared of going to the wilds. I had
It
no
really
idea
was
they'd
him doing it to
blame me
himself.
for it. I'm sorry. That's why you came back.
Wow, it's actually really good to know that he didn't stick that in his friend's boot. Wow.
He came from.
When she told her husband, he said it was a ridiculous idea. He's hiding things.
Leslie, let's go. Let's get out of here.
So
Let's
she
get
ran
out
away.
of here. I'm still in the cage, but let's
Like
go.
you did,
Let's
Lucy.
get going.
Shady Sands.
She's lying. Lucy.
Oh god.
That's how Vault-Tec deals with competition. Just like they did
And that's what
200
happened
years
when
ago.
Maximus was a kid. Wow.
Look at
It
me.
could be a better world. It has
She
clean water
invaded
and medicine
our
and
home.
power. But for
And
everyone.
you invaded hers.
Because when
She
Vault-Tec
killed
bought my
our
research,
people.
they made it
Killed her
proprietary.
people.
What happened to her? I think you know.
my god. Oh.
Well, it was great meeting you. I actually have to get back home.
You can't go home, son of Hank. Bug. I'd certainly put myself to sleep if I could.
Oh, wow. If you feel like you're so justified and right in what you're doing, it shouldn't be such a sinister response of the fact that you can't leave, other than the, oh, people will freak out if you tell them. Cold fusion ready. Thumbs up.
But you stopped being your mother when she left home.
No, she was still being their mother.
And she took you.
I mean, I guess it's fair enough that there was more danger up in the surface, but I don't know. Is the case that she was being reckless and neglectful because there's danger on their surface? Because the world is a dangerous place? Which is just the truth of the world. Like, nowhere is particularly safe. Like, there could be like parents that try to raise their children in like small town, the safest town they possibly can, low crime. Something can still happen. And I guess the argument would be in the vaults nothing can, but I don't know. I think it's important for children to know that there are people that could potentially harm you, and actually know how to put into practice how to take care of yourself and have an understanding of the world. Like, you can't shelter them from everything. And I guess you technically can in a vault, but I guess we'll see if that's his angle or if something actually sinister was happening. Oh, fuck.
I've seen what it's like up here.
You know, it's standing close to me.
Believe, Lucy, I know. I made the right choice.
Did you consider any other choices? Is the area she was in even this close to the level of danger we're seeing? I don't necessarily doubt that he did it out of love for his children, but I don't know if I agree with him. Ugh.
Tomorrow, so they say.
Only hours to shake them.
Oh.
I wonder if they fix that in this new model.
He was part of the Brotherhood? Or... Oh! Duh, what am I thinking? Yeah.
I guess not.
Lucy.
That's very hard to forgive.
Why not with him? What do you mean?
Because it was him.
What?
He's...
It was him.
What was him? Lucy, what?
Yeah, he's not gonna take that well.
Lucy, you're coming with me.
He just hopped right in that super quickly. Oh.
You came all this way for me.
Yeah, and you're in the armor. It's kind of a threatening way to try and take her back.
there's always somebody behind the wheel. And that's who I want to talk to. That's where your daddy is headed.
But you let him go.
Well, it's easier to track a stuck pig than to ask it where it's off to.
Did she just kill her mother?
Okie dokie.
I just blew into the mic really hard. I knew she was gonna shoot her mom though. I was like, there's no reason for her to try and shoot Cooper right then. It's to put her mom out of misery, but also it's kind of a signaling of a turning point for her. Oh. There we go.
What do you suppose your brotherhood would do with infinite power?
I don't know if I want to think
Maybe
about
you
it.
can stop them.
Like, really getting into her motivations and everything. I really do like this character, so it's a shame if we don't get... It doesn't appear we're gonna get more of her next season.
You killed her.
No, Dane.
Oh, Hail Maximus! That shall be night hereafter!
Are you gonna say something?
We three, we're all alone. We three, we're not a crowd. We're not
Dog meat says you smell good.
my echo, even till eternity. My
Seattle.
my shadow.
No. That doesn't make sense. Vegas? I don't know. And... Well, my goodness. That was quite the finale. It definitely left me wanting more. I was surprised when the ending came around. I was like, oh, that's it. As opposed to Westworld that made its finale be a movie-length episode. But I do think this episode was kind of a culmination of this season's themes. Lucy's father is a lot more sinister than it initially thought, even though the assumption kind of was he must know something or be involved with something in order for Moldiver to want to take him. And especially as we find out the whole thing about Vault 31 and that Hank McClane was also from Vault 31, and this idea that we don't know where Rose McClane's Pip-Boy was or where she would be, and Betty kind of being vague with, well, your father and I buried her with her Pip-Boy. And there was some hints early on that when Lucy was saying that she could have sworn, felt like there was sun on her skin when she was a kid and with her mother, it kind of was like, maybe it was sunlight, and it turned out it was. But I have no doubt that Hank sees himself as justified. He certainly seems to see himself as justified, but whether his motives are actually sinister, but him thinking that they're justified, or just kind of that gray area where everyone thinks they're justified, everyone thinks they know how to solve the war, and they can't agree on how. But the fact that he did that to her mother is going to be next to unforgivable for her. And maybe Lucy can forgive, but there's no changing that. And Lucy shooting her mother, I read it as she was kind of putting her out of her misery, but also that it kind of signifies this turning point for Lucy. And maybe some other people have a different read on that as to why she would do that. But it did show her having to make a hard decision right before she went with the ghoul. So making the hard decision of shooting her mother signified that she was ready to go with the ghoul. Now, the ghoul has said that he's looking for his family. I'm sure it's very important for him to find his daughter. And it does raise the question if his wife is still alive, because that would, you'd think so if he's trying to find them after 200 years. So they must be ghouls as well. They must be affected by radiation. Which, well, Diver must have been too. She's still alive after 200 years, but also she looks fine. But, I'm sure somebody has a explanation to me as to why that would be. And I am perfectly good with hearing that, because I don't know everything about Fallout or the ins and outs of why people could survive so long, other than the people that are affected by radiation and become ghouls. So, whatever the reason is, I'd love to know, or I'll find out next season, which I am okay with waiting as well. But considering it did not frame his wife as being great, he certainly didn't agree with her in those last moments of him eavesdropping. What she was saying, I don't even know how you can see that as being morally just, as it just seems so, everyone was acting so nefarious in that meeting. Like, well, let the enemies die out, so then it's just us left. Well, humanity's always going to find someone to fight with. You leave the people up on the surface, yeah, they're gonna fight and kill each other for sure, but at the same time, there's plenty of people that are gonna live and keep procreating, and it's gonna be a somewhat ripped apart society. It's not like they're just all gonna disappear and die out, and then you're left down in the vault probably finding your own petty disagreements and ways to do each other in, because this person disagreed in the way and you think you're justified and it's the right thing to do is to take these people out or do something to them, exile them or trap them in whatever. Like, there's no ending. And it almost makes it to the point where it doesn't matter who started things, because it's just become so messed up down the line, and so everyone becomes so at a fault. It's like whoever dropped the bomb, it doesn't matter, even though it kind of does, because blaming it on someone else and the culprits that have done it are still alive, it kind of does still matter. But at the same time, it's like so many people aren't really rosy and squeaky clean at that point. I'll say it's good in this episode that Maximus, turned out he didn't put the blade in his friend's boot. His friend did it to himself, because even though he's acting excited, he still didn't want to go. So I'm glad Maximus didn't do that. So that's a point in Maximus's favor. He didn't go that far. All this time I had thought that he did, and I'm glad he didn't. But now he's being hailed as, like, the guy who killed the Mad Woman of the Mountains. Even though he denied that he did it, they still said he did, and he didn't try to correct them again, so I guess he's gonna be rising the ranks of the Brotherhood. But he wants to find Lucy again, and I don't doubt that he will. He'll find Lucy again. But it's hard to fully grasp. Like, I feel like with his and Lucy's relationship, it's kind of like this idealized version of what you want, and that's what they see in each other, as opposed to knowing the flaws and downsides. Mostly on Lucy's end towards him, she kind of knows. He kind of confessed some stuff, but... And I mean, it's not supposed to be somewhat silly. It's not like Fallout, I think, is purposely trying to give you this, like, truly sincere love at first sight type of romance between them. I think there's something deeper and more satirical they're getting at. And Lucy leaving with the ghoul. I'm very intrigued by next season. It's going to be her and him journeying to track down her father. And it seemed like, even by the ghoul turning his back to her, that did demonstrate some level of trust. I don't think it's necessarily going to be immediately this warm relationship, because he did some messed up stuff to her, and she watched him do terrible things to people who didn't deserve it, like, forgetting the character's name, but, you know, the head, Michael Emerson's character, he blew that guy's leg up. He killed a bunch of people. Like, the ghoul has done terrible things. That's not necessarily someone that you're immediately like, well, let's be best friends with, even if we have a common goal and we're going to be companions. That being said, as you know, I like the ghoul a lot. I think he's well performed, and he's got a very interesting history, and there's more to him than just being a monster. That doesn't excuse terrible stuff that he's done, but I do think a warmer friendship, or even relationship. Not that I think they'd necessarily be romantically involved, but even though some shippers, as we've talked about, clearly want that, I don't think that's out of the question, as long as we can get deeper into the ghoul as a character, and he is able to not be someone who's just going around blowing up civilians. Which, granted, they were trying to kill him too, but it wasn't an even fight, and he was very sadistic in some of the things he did, and cutting off her finger, and he was gonna get her killed. I think that can, especially since it's a TV show and not necessarily the most realistic TV show. I think that can be redeemed and forgiven down the line, as long as there's like effort to actually fix those things about him. And I'm not saying that's like an inherent flaw of the character of the show at the time, because that's the kind of character he's supposed to be. However, regardless of any sort of heroic turn for the character, he is one of the most interesting and most well-performed characters in the whole show. And it's tragic what happens with him and his family, and his turn from a beloved, noble kind of movie star, like the all-American what's right and what's wrong, kind of old-fashioned type movie star, to being a murderous ghoul. And yet you still see those hints of compassion. There's so much wisdom in him. He's incredibly interesting. And his former self reminds me so much of what Lucy currently is. So that's why he says, I'm you, just give it some time. It's his belief that it's inevitable for someone to become like that. And I don't know if he truly believes anyone can be as good as Lucy truly is. And I do think Lucy is very good. When she does things, like when she has to make hard choices, it's because she has to make them, but it's not because she does weigh her options, and she understands the impact of her actions. Which I believe he always has too. It's just along the lines he stopped worrying about it. And that's what's going to make their dynamic next season so interesting. So we actually get to see them play off of each other more. And Lucy and the Ghoul are my two favorite characters, so it'll be interesting to see. That doesn't mean I immediately am going to be like, yes, their stories run parallel to each other, and there's like the danger aspect, so now I want to see them screw. If you want that, that's fine, and I don't actually think there's anything wrong with people shipping them, as long as, like, it's people acknowledging more depth than two characters hate each other. I immediately ship them, because I think that's weird. Especially if you've only, like, seen them interact in, like, one episode. Again, do what you want, it's just my personal opinion that I think it's kind of funny when people only like enemies to lovers simply because it's enemies to lovers, even though there's certain times where there's no chance that's going to happen. However, I do see why someone would with them. And I could potentially be swayed in that direction too, depending on how things developed. But I do kind of also see it taking this sort of almost like father-daughter approach. He doesn't have his daughter anymore. She doesn't have her father anymore. He's like, how old is Walton Goggins? Is he in his 50s? I feel like he's got to be in his 50s. And Ella Purnell is like around my age. So he's potentially old enough to be her father. So I could see that too. Because it's really the important thing is about the parallel journeys, the influence, and the dynamic of unraveling this mystery. And how each of them plays a part into the story, making each of their stories worth telling. And I feel like Maximus is a bit of a wild card. He's like the in-between of that. And poor Norman. He's gonna be trapped in like that cryogenic thing until someone comes and gets him? When? And say it was dumb of him to go running into a place that's dangerous by himself, but what's going on is serious and no one else seems to be looking into it. It's not like he can contact the police. Like, what? And Betty's an overseer. It's the overseers that are in on the conspiracy, that know what's going on in 31. Who is he supposed to tell that would believe him or listen? And there's a lot of, sorry to say it, but kind of like either naive or kind of dumb people in Vault 33. Like, he had to look into it on his own, but at the same time it was so dangerous. Like, I don't even know what's gonna happen for him. God, and their cousin and weird eye patch. I am forgetting her name. But the girl that she seemed really cool in the beginning, and now she's just been giving me the creeps the last several episodes. I don't even know. When it comes to how things are playing out down in the vault, that storyline, I can't even guess. I'm just like, I'll just go how it goes. But then with the stuff up on the surface, I have more of an idea of what could potentially be happening, the secrets that would be revealed, and what's the potential journey for those characters. Vault stuff is just like so wacky, and I'm not saying that as an insult. It's just very wacky. Mostly because they're kind of like in what they think is a utopia, and they're just very blinders on to things. Don't know, but I look forward to next season. Sounds like it's going to be coming out a lot sooner than I anticipated. I was probably thinking like 2026, 2027, because, you know, that's streaming nowadays. You get your seasons every, 5 years? Back when a 5-season show meant you got the season within a season span, like within like a school year span. And 5 seasons meant 5 years, so you've got 11-year-old characters by the end of season 5. They're going to be like 15, 16. And then your actors are going to be like 23 or something. Yes, that was such a Stranger Things call out. Anyway, it sounds like we're getting Fallout Season 2 in 2025. Look forward to it. I really enjoyed these characters, and I want to see more of them. I want to see that relationship with Lucy and the Ghoul play out. I want to see where Maximus goes in the Brotherhood, if he makes smarter decisions, if he becomes a character with a little bit more, like, moral backbone. Because I'm very... It's not like I'm unempathetic to him, but it's just I haven't cared for some choices he's made. And I would like to see a little bit of improvement on writing for him. But maybe that's what they intended for this first season for him, this introduction. And I will look forward to seeing whatever crazy Easter eggs that I won't necessarily know off the bat, but I'll think are cool when I see them. Things for Fallout, and forward to seeing more of this post-apocalyptic world that they've built, getting to see these characters again, and maybe some new characters as well. But yeah, it's been a wild ride. I know other people finished and binged Fallout a lot quicker than I did. I took my time with it a bit. But hey, I took my time to savor it. And not rush out the content. But now that I've watched all of Fallout, that means I can see other people's reactions. I noticed recently that Seska Says has uploaded some reactions to it, and she's one of my favorite reactors, so I look forward to seeing how she feels about this show. But until next time, I'm Madam Arm. See ya.